What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and Donald Trump has declared war on Amazon, and I don't blame him. A lot of companies in the United States that rely on Chinesium garbage for a large percentage of their sales have now decided to try and, how do I say this, like pass the buck on these tariffs. And Amazon announced this morning that they were going to do what Temu.com did and start displaying, what the tariff costs were on a particular, particular item that they might be importing. The reality is, I love this idea. Everybody's like Trump's approaching this all wrong. Everybody who's mad about this is promoting it all wrong. I think this is an extremely valuable tool that I wish every website would have. I think this is a tool that would prevent me from buying Chinese crap. Look, I think if you look at just about anybody's house, they're going to have a bunch of it. In my office right now, because I'm hoping it's only temporary, I have two desks that are 100% definitely Chinesium. And I have a bunch of Rubbermaid shelving. The brand is Rubbermaid. I don't know where it's made, but I'd be willing to bet China. But it is just a temporary office. And my old office, I had expensive, American furniture. Thousands of dollars on desks and bookshelves and all this kind of stuff. I still own them. And if I move into a new studio with more room, I will reuse that furniture. This China crap won't survive a move. It's $100 desk, $70 desk. It's going to last for a few months or a year. It's going to start to fall apart. But I knew that going in. I don't shame anybody for buying Chinese, products, especially when you're not even looking at it, right? You're like, oh, I just need a desk. And, oh, it happens to be made in China. But now we have Jeff Bezos. It's really stepping in it here.
It's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. This is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
Is Jeff Bezos still a Trump supporter?
Look, I will not speak to the president's...
Look, I don't think Jeff Bezos was ever a Trump supporter. I think he was trying to make the best deal he could for his, multinational business. Look, I actually understand why these businesses are doing this. It's to get the pressure off themselves onto someone else. In this case, it's going to be Trump. If you understand the big picture, you understand that we're not going to be able to move manufacturing overnight. And given the fact that Biden sold this country out happily to China and other countries, and every other president before this has happily done that for the past 25 years, you can't exactly fix this problem overnight. Would I have liked to see some incentives to come back to America to try and hasten the turnaround? Yeah, but most people actually understand this is a temporary pain. And just like we talked about yesterday with Temu, a bunch of grandmas are mad that they have to pay $30 for a dress instead of $20 to buy it in America. When actually, in reality, if you take the time to shop, you can find these type of things for cheap, just as cheap as Temu or Wish or any of these other websites. Here's the longer clip I wanted to show you.
Reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much.
Again, this is great. This is just going to be able to tell me right up front, is this made in China?
Much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
No, because Amazon is choosing simply to pass on 100% of the cost to you. you'll be able to pick the product that has the tariff price on it and then look for an alternative that may be cheaper. This is spin. This is what the Democrats want. But there's an awful lot of alternatives that aren't made in China that you can buy without these tariffs applied that are suddenly going to become very viable options.
I will take this since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the
To be fair, Biden inflation and the tariffs are not really the same thing. I get what she's saying.
highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason
That happened
why Americans
2 or 3
should
years ago.
buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
Is Jeff Bezos still a Trump supporter?
Look, I will not speak to the president's relationships with Jeff Bezos, but I will tell you that this is certainly a hostile and political action by Amazon. And Secretary, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I would also add that the bringing down the terrible Biden inflation has been a priority for the first 100 days of the Trump administration, and President Trump has done a great job of leading that since January 20th. Interest rates.
What the Democrats are really trying to do is go full on Chicken Little here. Nobody absolutely needs to buy just about anything made in China except pharmaceuticals, which is something that America absolutely positively needs to fix. We should have learned our lesson during the lockdowns in 2020 when we couldn't buy N95 masks and all this kind of stuff. That needs to be fixed. But a cheap $70 desk, I didn't need it. I could have moved my desks down here. I could have bought a $130 desk from somewhere else. And if there is a tariff affecting the price, that's exactly what I would do.
Mortgage rates are down. Gasoline and energy prices are down. We're expecting the further decreases. And as Caroline said, the big tax on consumers that goes unnoticed is deregulation or regulation, and we are deregulating and bringing that down. So, from a household income point of view, we would expect real purchasing increases. We've
Purchase
seen them
power.
over the first 100 days, and we would expect that to accelerate. We are doing peace deals, trade deals, tax deals, and deregulating. And the deregulation.
It takes time, is what he's saying here. It takes time. And look, I sell my coffee on Amazon. Guess what? There's no tariff on it. So hopefully a bunch of garbage coffee that is imported from China gets, priced out, and maybe some people try my stuff. By the way, shout out to Meta PCs. They're my computer sponsor. Promo code The Quartering when you're ready for a new computer. Link in the description below. Here's the article. President Donald Trump has declared war on Jeff Bezos after Amazon announced it will include the tariff costs for the price in the price tag of items. This is what I would do if I were Amazon. But again, I think that when you look at the left right now, they are really desperate to try and rattle Trump's base. If you look at the other big headline from today, it's Trump's polling, right? Oh my God, Trump's polling. What the polls say, a growing majority says Trump has made the economy worse. 6 in 10 say Trump policy is making the economy worse. Most give Trump an F than any other grade in the first 100 days. I don't really think Trump gives two rips about his polling. And this is, again, going to be another swing and a miss from the mainstream media. I know that this is going to take time. 6 months, a year, 2 years. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And they're pushing this poll, and yeah, there are a lot of people panicked right now. There are a lot of people concerned right now. This morning, everyone was talking about Amazon stock crashing. Well, would you look at that? Everybody this morning was like, Amazon stock is completely tanking. Right now, it's down 0.5% and rising. Over the past 5 days, it's up 1.5%. The Amazon stock is fine because smart people know that this is going to take some time, and it's going to take a little bit of pain to get where we need to go. And this polling data, again, it doesn't really matter to me. Trump's going to have to make some changes, or he's going to have to see, we're going to have to see some fruits from the pain by midterms, I think. Look, I've said this before. Trump keeps talking about how much Doge has quote unquote saved. Trump keeps talking about how much money he's made on tariffs. Trump keeps telling us to wait. That's fine. But at some point, people are going to start to say, yo, you saved trillions of dollars with Doge. You're making trillions of dollars on tariffs. You need this to roll downhill and people need to pay less taxes, right? People need to get a break. I'm talking about all people. Business owners who are reliant on these products from China. We should have 100% tax deductible rate on any tariffs that they pay. They should have Trump should be putting all sorts of stuff into place to help small businesses and families, middle-class families who can't always just choose to buy American, because the reality is oftentimes it's more expensive. We need to be starting to spread this money around a little bit. But I also think Trump has a good amount of time before he has to do that. I think he has another 3 to 6 months before he needs to really worry about it, because Caroline Leavitt's right. Gas prices are low, earning potential, people's buying powers are high, crypto's doing well, all this stuff. The polling doesn't matter. The polling will matter. He needs to fix the polling by maybe about 2 months before the midterms. But that's not for another 16 months, 18 months. So yeah, they're sliding a little bit, but that's just because people don't have the intestinal fortitude to really wait. I think this stuff's going to shake out just fine. I believe in what he's doing with the tariffs. I believe that this is a net positive for America, and I never believed it was going to get fixed overnight. The Democrats want to try and present this like, all Trump supporters thought this was going to get fixed overnight, and now they're raging. Sure, some are, but the majority of people know you can't just move manufacturing back to the United States overnight. I had hoped that we would reach a better some negotiation with China before, we would have reached a deal by now. But, China's receiving the same amount of pain right now, and they're receiving the same amount of pressure. And I believe in what Trump's doing with the tariffs, and I'm happy to buy American when I can. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.